the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
This is an ownership nugget. Destination Promised Land. And now, Dr. Deborah Bartlett.
It's an absolutely beautiful day. The Bahamas is headquarters, I say, of peace and prosperity. There are signs of economic growth in our country. The Bank of Nova Scotia recently announced that their profits exceeded their forecast. Just before the Bank of Nova Scotia announced their outstanding annual report of more than $40 million in profits, our Bahamian-owned Commonwealth Bank announced profits of just over $50 million. Our financial institutions are strong. The Royal Bank of Canada has opened a branch in Old Fort Bay, New Providence. Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Perry Gladstone Christie, describes it as a signal of confidence in the economic turnaround of the Bahamas. There's a lot of money in the banks, but not a lot of money in most of our accounts. During his opening remarks at the Royal Bank of Canada, the Prime Minister noted that the banks are going through a transition. He was referring to the recent announcements of downsizing at First Caribbean and the Bank of Nova Scotia. The most recent one, the Bank of Nova Scotia, who has downsized its customer service department and outsourced it to Trinidad and Tobago. There is a lot of money in the bank, and I say it again, few of us can access financing with our low levels of savings. Our economic turnaround will be strengthened when we have more of our money circulating in our economy. The transition in our economy must also mean increased ownership for Bahamians. Increased ownership for Bahamians can not only increase the number of entrepreneurs, but can increase the number of jobs for Bahamians. As we give our best today and plan for a better tomorrow, we should also broaden our vision and believe that we can build businesses that produce products and services for export. We must believe that our skill and integrity can create a demand for us in the global community and own multi-million and multi-billion-dollar companies. But it starts at home with you and I supporting one another. The annual revenue of General Motors is $152 billion. The annual revenue of Hewlett-Packard is $112 billion. Those are just two Fortune 500 companies that have budgets larger than our country. The projected expenditure of our country is $1.493 billion. That's peanuts compared to what some companies are making. It is a process to get there. It takes time to get there. But it will only happen if we plan, develop strategy, and execute effectively. A prerequisite for increasing profitability is believing in ourselves and one another. We must appreciate the value of starting small and saving, even if it is a little at a time. I spoke to a gentleman over the weekend who said that his father taught him the power in saving and being financially disciplined. It's not how much you make, but how much we save. He's 40 and a multi-millionaire. 80% of our demand, savings, and fixed accounts are below $10,000. That's collectively. 94% of our savings accounts register under $10,000 with an average of $500 to $1,000 each. The total deposits, however, in all of our accounts is $6 billion. The fixed deposits represent $3.4 billion. Many of the accounts are owned by the same people. There's a lot of room for the same people to make more when we think big. But there's also a lot of room for you and I to make more, to think big and do better. In this transition, we must become more unified in our focus. Unity requires respect and love for one another. It's a law. Unity requires submission to a vision. It's a law. The Promised Land is the original vision for the human potential. The Garden of Eden is the original Promised Land. It was governed by values and the I can spirit. God told Adam that he must name all the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, all of the livestock, and Adam believed. Peace and prosperity is the fruit of obedience to the law. Obey the laws that releases the greatness in you, and be able to say, I have great peace. Nothing makes me stumble. Nothing offends me. Be at peace through the power of ownership in the spirit of helping each other succeed. Our destination is the Promised Land.
That was an Ownership Nugget with Dr. Deborah Bartlett. Destination Promised Land.